culture, do it for the culture, do it for the culture, do it for the culture. I gotta grind, I gotta shine.
It's for the
It's my time.
culture.
Hey, but I'm
All right. What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is your one and only girl, Tay Jordan. You can find me on Instagram at @1_Tay Jordan, Jordan like Mike. This is episode 8 of For the Culture podcast. Speaking of the culture, man, I'm having 2 lucky days, man. Double the blessings. Yesterday I had Earn Your Leisure, and today I'm blessed by none other than David Ballard, 1/4 of Black Renaissance, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm back because I'm used to being on the other side of this. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Say I really appreciate it.
For sure, man. I definitely had to get you on, man. I've just been like, I've been a big supporter of the movement. Black Wealth Renaissance just means so much to me. People want to FaceTime me at the most inopportune time. Or she called right back. All this time I wasn't on air. Now she want to call. But yeah, shout out to my best friend Aaliyah. Just call me at the most inopportune times. But anyway, yeah. So Black Wealth Renaissance, man. I just been a fan of the movement for some time, or a supporter of the movement, I should say. So I know you 1/4 of and everything. Tell me about your background though. Where you from? You know, what made you guys start the podcast? Just give me some background.
For sure. But first, I appreciate you for being a supporter of BWR. So BWR it started with me and two of my college roommates and my best friend from childhood. It really just got started as kind of a passion project. I always was like into school and really big on education coming up, and I kind of had that same path that everybody was told. You know, that go to school, get a good job, get your degree, all that stuff like that. And like as I was going through the actual process of that, like toward the end of our college career, me and my two roommates, two of the partners, Jared and Kelly, like we really started like kind of taking inventory of what it is that we wanted to do. And entrepreneurship and business really started like standing out to us. And I was a biology major, so like it had no correlation with anything I was being taught. So like we kind of started dabbling here and there. We started like little side hustle things in 2016, you know, just trying to really get our feet wet in entrepreneurship. And it kind of just like fizzled out. We ended up graduating and really just moving on. And like as I was trying to really figure out what I wanted to do in my life after I got my degree, my brother Jared, another 4th of the Black Wealth Renaissance, he had stumbled across the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he was like,
we had to cancel Robert Kiyosaki just now.
Yeah, we had to cancel him.
He had to go.
Canceled now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I will give Rob his credit. He definitely
that's real.
He was inspirational for us. It still hurt me to this day that like I seen that shit hurt. But
same here.
Jared gave me the book, and then like it flipped that switch for me. Like, oh, okay, all those things I was thinking about, all those things that we were like kind of like dabbling with, thinking that like, man, this is the way we should go. Like it flipped that switch and was like, no, you were right. This is the way you should go. This is what you should be doing. And like as I started just diving into some of that content and really like finding more out about financial literacy, I was like mind blown because it was like, wow, I'm learning all this stuff, like all this actionable information, stuff that I can actually use to change and better my life. And I've just turned 23. I ain't learned none of this shit before this. I want to be someone who can help someone who was like me before they make the same mistakes as me. So like me with that, it started initially with Jared and I, and we just was like, man, we gotta find a way to put this information out there. And back whenever we started our entrepreneurial hustles and whatnot, one thing we tried was Instagram. We tried to do like the drop shipping, influencer marketing type thing. So we kind of just went back to that. A lot of the skills that we were building up during that time, it was like, okay, well, we know this and this and this. Let's just start an Instagram page and share this information with people because we know they need it. And that was really just the impetus for it. It all just started as like a passion project, and then everything else kind of just like was just trial and error and like us just trying to find different ways to continue to push the movement in ways we could.
Yeah.
Like the podcast, that was just like we might as well start a podcast. Like we always talked about a podcast. We might as well start one.
So it was just like a natural extension to what you guys were already doing, basically. Right.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Really more so because like even whenever we were in college, Jared Kelly and I, we discussed having a podcast all the time because we would a lot of the same things we talk about now, we would talk about then. Like we always were on those types of conversations, like about wealth building and like the future of our people and like ways we can change the Black struggle. So like it just was a further way to extend it.
Okay.
Honestly, like just giving us that avenue.
Gotcha. That's what's up, man. That's super dope. I love to see it, man. Especially like 4 young Black men that's like on this wealth building talk. One of my homegirls put me on. She's like, because I follow Earn Your Leisure, and she know I'm just really big into this content. She was like, you should follow these dudes on Instagram. And she sent me to Black Wealth Renaissance. And I'm reading the content. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm reading more and more. I'm like, oh, this I need to follow for real. But that's super dope. So where you from? You from Louisiana, right?
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Lawtell, Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm from the country.
Oh shoot, I ain't hip. So is that how far is that from New Orleans? Because you know when we hear Louisiana, we think Baton Rouge or New Orleans.
We like 2.5 hours northwest of New Orleans.
Okay.
So, yeah, we a good little ways from there, but
that's what's up. So when you say country, is it like you've seen Queen Sugar?
Yeah, I seen Queen Sugar. Not quite as bad as
okay.
But I grew up across the street from a soybean field. We own cattle.
Wow.
I've always been one, like, as a child, we had to work in the garden, in the fields, things like that. Just raised by just older country folks, you know, just
that's a whole nother perspective.
Yeah, a lot of those same principles they grew up on, they really instilled in us. I really value it a lot. Like I'm thankful for it. As a child, I used to hate it. But like it really instilled the importance of hard working because like the value of hard work and how you can reap the benefits of it, because out there in the country, like everything was just moving slow. Like it wasn't this instant gratification lifestyle that we was living now. Like it was just like, okay, you do this, you do it right, you wait the time, and then you reap the benefits later. And like it's just, I just value it so much. I think back on it all the time. Like, man.
Yeah, that's super dope. So what's any siblings? How was your background? Was it 2-parent household? Like what? I guess I'm trying to get to what I know. Rich Dad Poor Dad like sparked the vision, but was it something before that you could point to? Like, was your parents into entrepreneurship, or what was your background like that?
Okay, so I grew up 2-parent household. Both my parents happily married. Been married my whole life.
Dope. Black love.
Really, with Black love for sure. And with the entrepreneurship thing of it, I guess like I grew up around it, but never like full-fledged entrepreneurship, let me say. So my dad and my uncles, his brothers, they all work 9 to 5, and they all have a side hustle, like doing something. Like my dad, he's a mechanic. He's been a mechanic my whole life. And like just seeing that, I seen how much more money he would bring in, like doing that versus working his 9 to 5. The reason he kept the 9 to 5, obviously, you know, the insurance benefits and all these other things. But like in terms of influencing my entrepreneurial journey, I guess I didn't really even think about it till after I fully dove into it. Because like I'm full-time entrepreneurship now. Like I went full-time entrepreneur. I quit my job in December.
Respect.
And like after that, like I was like, I guess I've been around it, but I never seen anybody really, you know, take that deep dive into it. So me wanting to be that person to bring the change and see the differences, I think that's what inspired me even more, because it's like I seen all them, like they have their own hustle, they got their own like side businesses, side hustles, but what how much greater could it be if they had put their full time and energy into it? That's
real. That's real. Respect, man. Full-time entrepreneurship. Cheers to that, man. That's super dope. That's super dope.
It's a journey. I'll say that much. It ain't
Survival of
easy.
the
It ain't
fittest.
butterflies and roses. But
Oh hell no, hell no. But they say to whom much is, you know, you work hard. You know, it's a risk, but the rewards is so can be so great. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, cheers to freedom, man. Ado, so like just talking about the movement for the listeners that's not familiar with Black Wealth Renaissance, man. So like David, like I mentioned, it's four brothers. Not blood brothers, but you know, four brothers, four young men. And they created Black Wealth Renaissance. Black Wealth Renaissance is basically a platform that's, you know, meant to educate the masses. And you guys are all about normalizing Black wealth. And when I saw that, I was like, this is something I can get behind. This is something that the culture needs. This is something because, you know, coming where we're from, like I'm from inner city Cleveland, you know, you from, you know, Louisiana. I just feel as though all across America, you know what I'm saying? It's just wealth has not really been normalized for Black people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we can get to the bag too. We don't have to just spin the bag. We could, you know, we could invest. We can, you know, we can own some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that what you guys were doing was just so dope. And obviously there's other people that think like me, like you guys are sitting at what, over 260,000 followers on Instagram. Then, you know, for the podcast page, you guys got over 36,000 followers. So so when did you guys start the page? Because I want to talk about how rapidly you guys have grown. You started it, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, we coming up on the 2-year mark. We started October of 2018, October 31st, 2018 to be exact.
Wow.
I remember the date.
So dang, I was early because I feel like I've been with y'all since like 2018.
Hey, possibly, you know, because you might have been in the first 2 or 3,000.
Yeah.
We were actually looking back at the growth of it not long ago. It's funny how it scaled because like our first month, I don't think we had like 100 or 200 followers, but like we just stayed consistent with it. Like it was like one of those things, you know, we always talk about consistency all the time on the page and like just in our messages on our podcast. It's a true testament to it because like we could have quit. Yeah. After a month, we only had like 100 people following us, but we just stayed consistent and stayed like testing. Like if it was some content that people like found helpful or like they was really receptive to, we try to do more of that. If it was something that didn't really get a reception, we did less of that. And we kind of started tweaking it. And then we started seeing real growth. I'd say sometime in December, closer to Christmas, I think we had like started skyrocketing. We had probably got somewhere around 5,000 followers by then. Okay. Then coming into the new year, that's when it went off crazy. Like I think we hit 10K a little into January, and then from that point, like it just started growing. Yeah, like now I think at this point we growing by 4,000 or 5,000 a week.
Wow, that's massive growth, man. Respect. That's super dope. Congrats on that, man. So for those out there that's interested in, you know, everybody talks about, you know, building a brand, you know, people want an audience. So what would you say is the number one thing? We know consistency and having quality content. How do you guys split it up? Is it, I know it's for you guys. So do y'all like assign, or it's like, okay, Monday through Tuesday, you go do this, you go post at this hour, or is it just like, how do you guys do that?
Really with the content with us, for me, honestly, it's mostly half of us do it. Jalen and I, we handle most of the content work, and then a lot of the other back end things that we have going on, like our website and like just partnerships and other things, we divvy that up between Kelly and Jared. Like our product creation and all that. But as far as growing a brand goes, I think the biggest thing that people miss out on all the time is just really staying within like creating a personality for your brand. I think too many people, whenever they want to make a brand, they for one, they lack the consistency in the branding, like keeping the colors and the logo and that stuff present in people's mind, but also really creating a personality for your brand, because your brand can't just be like, oh, this is this. Like it has to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever we came out and we was like, our mission statement on our page, our bio, that shit been the same since we came out. Our mission is to normalize Black wealth. Like, and that's how we talk to people. Whenever we dealing with people and we want to handle people, like if someone disagrees with us, with like for our brand, right? We all about positivity,
Right.
Black positivity, and building with our fellow kings and queens.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody says something that we disagree with or something, it's part on brand for us is not to get mad at them and lash out at them and tell some crazy shit. On brand for us is to respectfully disagree, because it creates an environment that's more conducive to what we want to build.
That's real. Yeah, because you guys are all about positivity, so it don't make no sense to sit up and argue with somebody and that's bringing in negativity, and that goes against the brand. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't agree, but we can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? So that's real. And for you guys to be so young and to like, embrace this entrepreneurship movement, and like, I commend you guys for sure. You got to give people their flowers while they're still here. So commend respect for you guys. So yeah, so I want to talk about Black money. You know what I'm saying? You guys are all about normalizing Black wealth. So let's definitely have this conversation about Black money, especially in like what's going on today, man. Like,
it's necessary.
Bruh, is it? Jesus, man, it's more than necessary. So, I know you guys talk about the wealth gap a lot. For those that's not familiar, hopefully you stop being asleep and wake up, because we got work to do.
Real shit.
So. Right.
Too much work.
Bruh. Speaking of the disparities of the wealth gap, the numbers are pretty staggering. Records show that a white family's net worth on average is $171,000, and which is 10 times greater than that of a Black family. A Black family's net worth is somewhere around $17,000 and some change. So just that disparity alone lets you know, like, we got a lot of catching up to do. Granted, they did kind of have like a long head start.
They systemically denied us access to wealth.
Oh, absolutely. It's reasonings because of that wealth gap. It ain't just like we some lazy motherfuckers. That's not the case at all. It's definitely some systematic stuff going on there. Like, we was chattel for 250 years. Then after that, we went into Jim Crow. Then after that, we got the prison
new Jim Crow shit.
Basically, mass incarceration is that exactly. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, that's the new slavery. But what can we do to understand these numbers? How can we dismantle it? You know what I'm saying? What we got to do? What work we got to do?
So in my head, the biggest work that we can do is taking the time to really learn about finance, because a lot of our people don't understand that, like, that's the first thing that's biting you in your ass. Like, we were systemically denied access to wealth for all this time, right? We just talked about like all these different barriers that they put in our way. Well, one of the biggest barriers and like the way they did it is withholding that education from us. And now, like, we in the information age. We don't have that excuse no more. We can learn all that shit. Like, it's at our fingertips. So the first thing I think we need to do is like really get with the principles of building wealth. Like, and when I say that, I mean like living below your means. Paying yourself first. Understanding credit and how to use credit, not just like using it to spend stuff. Understanding how to control your spending and really understanding, like, you really got to take the time out to understand yourself more too. I think like whenever it comes to finance, we really don't like to get what's the word I'm looking for here? We don't like to reflect a lot. We don't like to reflect on the way our spending habits, like how they show on us and how they show how we react to things and how we deal with things. Cause like we use money as a crutch, not a tool. We use it like to make us feel better and to really like as this object to spend and not as this tool to start creating more opportunities and wealth for ourselves. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And then the other thing when it comes to like really just building, like getting us to understand what we need to do with money is that group economics piece. Like we really been preaching it heavy. Cause like it's hard for us. It really is. It's hard for our people to do it because we have because of all the challenges that we faced in the years prior. A lot of our new entrepreneurs and business owners, we have the common gripes against them, and okay, they always like, you talk about support black owned business. What's the first thing somebody gonna say? They price is too high and they service too bad. And it's like, okay, like damn, okay, yeah, they could do better at this, they could do better at that. But instead of tearing them down and not giving them another opportunity, I think we need to be really intentional about spending our dollar with each other and being honest with one another. Like, if I go to your business, like if I go to a little black owned restaurant, right? Chances are I'm probably going to pay more for a plate of wings at a black owned restaurant than I am at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
They probably going to take a little longer. They might not have as great of a system or they services like that. But I understand that whenever I'm spending that money with my people, what it's doing for me, like what it's doing for us. Because you was mentioning the numbers with the wealth gap.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting who predicted it, but they say about 2053, the average net worth of the black family is going to be predicted to be $0. So it's like, how do we combat against that?
Right.
The fact I always like to correlate with that is they said that the black dollar only stays in the community around 6 minutes around this time. Whenever Tulsa, Black Wall Street, all this stuff was popping off, I think they said, like, don't quote me on this, but I think it was a year. It was a year our dollars were able to stay in our community. That's a huge difference.
For sure.
Whenever we was talking with Angel Rich about it, it was just like she was breaking it down to us. Like, during Reconstruction, our people had really made a lot of progress. And that's whenever they came through with the Jim Crow laws and the black codes and all that shit to stop it. Because whenever we were together, spending our money in our community and building up, we were creating wealth and creating opportunities to control and change shit. And they ain't like that. Obviously, they still don't like that. You see what's going on these days.
So that's you mentioned because we all hear that criticism with black businesses. It's like, oh well, I'm not gonna spend my dollar black, and they don't know how to talk to me. Their customer service is bad. For the cynic and the people that's negative and pessimist like that, whether there's some truth to it sometimes. I hate when people make generalizations, like blanket statements, as if all black businesses go take, you know what I'm saying? Like it's bad customer service. You can get bad customer service at a black establishment just like you can at Walmart. That's not gonna stop you from going to Walmart though. But for those that feel that way, why do you think, so we asking them to be more patient, but why do you think that is going to maybe take longer at the black business? The customer service may not be up to quality all the time. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think like that part of it is just the lack of business education. I can't tell you how many people, like, I'm just getting a business education myself. Like, so I don't
we trial and error. We got to learn on the job.
Yeah, like, it's not like we hold ourselves to such a high standard a lot of the times, like a higher standard than we would other people. And I really believe a lot of that is just rooted in self-hate. Now, granted, I don't want us to like lower the bar, obviously. Like, we don't want to accept shitty services. But when it comes to like just our people not understanding, I really feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, most of us don't even understand the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. A lot of our entrepreneurs and people, like, they be like, yeah, this is my business, and in all reality, you're self-employed. Like, a business is a set of systems that can operate with or without you.
Right.
Self-employment is whenever you stop working, the money stop coming in. That's about 90% of our entrepreneurs, and I feel like that's about 90% of the problem with like why they have problems within our thing. Like, because I've done the solopreneur shit. We doing BWR, I do BWM. Like, whenever you put the whole load of a business on yourself, and you just the one operating factor,
that's another
you
job.
gonna have some shit fall through the cracks. Like, you gonna have some shit fall through the cracks because it's like it's so much to account for. So for like our business owners, at the same time, I don't want to let them like slide and think it's time to be accountable, like not have accountability.
Yeah, no, I
think our business owners, they really need to take the time out to learn about
and educate themselves. That's
right.
That's
because
deep.
we just don't do it. Like, we think that we can do the task and make the money, and that's a business, and that's not a business.
That's real. That's damn. That's real. That's real. That you really put that into perspective. We do got to put more time and energy into, yeah, all of us want to be owners, but it's like, we need to educate ourselves on, the systems and how to maintain a sustainable business. You know what I'm saying? That's real. So, we the hip hop culture, we raised on like the whole, YOLO, blowing money
Yeah.
fast. I got to get to the bag. Um, how it seems as though like we call it Black Wealth Twitter, right? So it seems as though like the narrative and the mindset is changing a bit within a niche crowd. How can we change? How can we change the conversation? And I think platforms like Black Wealth Renaissance is you or EYL or some of the platforms that's leaders of the culture in terms of changing the narrative, especially to younger demographics and millennials altogether. So I think that's important. But how do we bring everybody with us to where we're not just talking to ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you gotta like, YOLO, yeah, you want to blow some money, but it's like that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta. I think our people a lot of times we are very present day people. We think of today and we like shit. Fuck, you not guaranteed tomorrow, but that may be true. But it's like you gotta save for a rainy day. If anything, these present times show us that ain't nothing promised. The job ain't secure. Like you gotta have y'all talk about reserves all the time, and I think that's important. How can we change that conversation to where everybody gets it?
Well, honestly, I always felt this way when it comes to this. There's no way we can change it to where everybody gets it. Mm-hmm. I feel like with our people, we have to show them so that they can see for themselves. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'll give you an example with my personal life, right? Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, we started this. All my friends that I had in college and all them, they weren't trying to hear none of this shit. They didn't want to hear nothing about investing. They didn't want to hear about saving. They was trying to go on that trip. They was trying to spend that money. Right. But as time has gone on and they see us sticking to these principles, sharing this message, and like really getting it to other people and seeing other people's lives being positively affected, they start to actually see the benefits and the changes that can be. Like they have to see it for themselves before they can go ahead and do it. Because I could tell you about it all day. I could tell you, save your money, pay yourself first, manage your credit card debt, make sure you got a savings account, you get a high interest savings account, and like you can process all that and it'll sound good, but the biggest thing to me is getting them to take action, and action don't happen unless they make that change on the inside on themselves. So they got to come to that realization for themselves, because like we started BWR so that we could have people avoid making the same pitfalls as us. Yeah. But I feel like to a degree, some of those pitfalls are necessary because those lessons is really what helps us, like,
that's real,
like really internalize this shit. Like, damn, no, this is really actually important. I was talking to one of my close friends the other day, and he was talking about like while we was in college, how much money he spent on clothes and shoes and shit. And he was like, man, I wish I'd have never did that. But now that I've done that, I'll never do it again. Like, I feel like that's what it is for most people.
That's real talk. And you know what? I just had a post, and some people took offense to it, but I had made a post that before you go, I was like, before you go sign your life away for a 2004 Charger or Challenger, a 2014 Charger or Challenger with 22% APR for 84 months, like, save your money, stack up a bit. That's the same car you can go get at one of these police auctions for $7,500 cash. And I was like, that just reminded me though, because what you were saying, but sometimes you got to go through the pitfalls. The only reason I know that is because I was that person in undergrad. My refund check, instead of me being smart about it, I went to go finance a Monte Carlo, put all them sounds in my car, 24% APR, 74 months. Like, so I've been there, and it's like, man, if only we a lot of our people, we are in despair because of the lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's like if my 19-year-old self probably would have not made that decision if I understood APR, if I understood credit, if I understood like, but
like what you was actually getting yourself into. You gave me chills whenever you mentioned that 2014 with an 84-month period and a 22% AT. Oh my God.
It's a robbery, right? Hey, but
financing cars is like the worst fucking robbery in the world.
Yeah, That and finance and education too. Like, I mean,
Oh my God.
the student loans is like the mafia.
Hell yeah.
That interest rate is astronomical, man. But yeah, so getting back to us like blowing the bag though, like obviously we aware of how much spending power our community has, us as Black people. Why do you think we so quick for the instant gratification? We cherish the blowing the bag. We cherish, like, as soon as we get it, we want that money be born in a hole in our pocket. Like you guys were just posting about, you made a post about the, before you spend your stimulus check, this is some alternatives that you could do before you blow it. Why do you think we be so quick? Like that money be spent before we even get it. Like, oh, I'm about to go get this Gucci belt. I'm about to go get this Gucci purse. Like, why do you think we like that? Is it because you think? I think my theories that I feel as though coming from nothing, we've been deprived of a lot to where we can't wait to get it. Even when we can't afford it, when we got it though, like we have it, but not really have it. And then we just like, oh, here, take my money. Here, give me that. I need that. I need things.
And I agree with you with that part. Like, I feel like a lot of it is rooted in that. I look at it as the lessons were just weren't really there for most of us. Like, we always were taught, like, I even look at my family, like the way we look at money as this means to an end to get some shit. Like, I'm gonna use my money to get this, and I'm gonna use my money to get that. And I really think I'm big on the idea of self-love versus self-hate. Yeah. I think we are, as a people, we have been ingrained with the idea that we are lesser, so that we start to seek validation for like ourselves outside of ourselves. That's why so many of like our young people, they value shit like designer clothes and the fancy cars and all that shit, because they finding they value in that and not in themselves, because they really lack that true knowledge of self and knowledge of our people. We were taught since we got here that our people were slaves. That's all they taught us. That literally in 18, 20 years of school, all they taught me was that my people were slaves and that Martin Luther King was a nice man. That was about it.
Damn.
They didn't even really tell me what the fuck he was actually talking about.
We knew he had a dream.
He's a nice man with a dream, y'all. That's it. Like, I don't think we really we take that time out to really find the value in what it is to be Black, because we are dehumanized by society. I'm so glad that like this current time right now, like everything that's going on, I really hope that people can stay strong in this and stay attentive to this, because like this shit is layered deep. This shit is like, I feel like the same things that like systemic racism as a whole, or the same things that influence police brutality, are the same reasons that we do dumb shit with our money. And we do all these things that like we probably we know aren't beneficial to us, but we do it anyway.
Yeah, that's real. We got to be more conscious of oneself, and more conscious of like, our history, because it did start out as slavery. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important to go back and learn. And I think it's important to be intentional of getting conscious. You know what I'm saying? Realize like, damn, I don't know it all. But I don't want to stay in this state of ignorance. Like you mentioned before, like we in this information age, so it's getting to the point where it's like, or it's gotten to the point, there is no excuse. Like at this point, if you remain ignorant, it's not because you don't have access to the information. It's just because
you're
like
choosing to be ignorant.
Exactly. So I think that's important to realize. Like it's much easier to remain in the state of ignorance. Like it take work to get knowledgeable on things that you're not knowledgeable. But it's like, damn it, put in the work. What else we got to do? You know what I'm saying? Like we starting from nothing. If you want to change your conditions, you got to put in the work, and you got to learn something. Like if it's like if I'm not familiar with investing. Everybody talking investing like, oh, I'm tired of being broke. Like maybe I need to look into this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But speaking on investing, I wanted to talk about this whole credit versus cash thing. Why is credit so important? Can you hear me?
I say, yeah, I can hear you. I think credit is important because it gives you the opportunity to access capital that you wouldn't be able to access otherwise. Like most people aren't able to save up 30, 40 bands and try to buy like a property off the auction just outright by themselves or something like that. And they still have to do some fixing up on it or something like that.
Right.
Like credit gives you more options. But at the same time, like it's a dangerous game, like to me. I'm really kind of anti-leverage. I preach credit and I believe in having credit available.
Okay.
But I don't think that you should go into anything like if you don't have enough cash, like reserves to at least cover a few months of your payments just in case some shit went wrong or something, you probably shouldn't be out here trying to finance shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that can take
credit
you
is a dangerous
underwater.
game because it allows you to become. It'll bring you over leverage real quick. Like the story I just seen. I just saw this on the TL. You might have seen it too. A 20-year-old kid just killed himself.
Yo, yeah, from the stock Robinhood. Yeah.
He was margin trading on Robinhood, and the glitch in the app showed that he had negative $750,000.
Yeah, 750.
Negative that in his account. He just said, well, I guess I'm gonna end it now. Like that's the risk of credit in my head. Like you become over leveraged and you're putting yourself in a position to where when you could have won, but now you're losing. So I think credit, like, it's still valuable. You just gotta know what you're buying first. Like I would never go out and use my credit card to like buy some shit that's not gonna make me money.
Okay.
Like my boy Chris said, borrow money to make money, or don't borrow money at all.
That's real. Like if that's what EYL is always talking about. Like it's assets over liability. Like don't take on no liabilities if you don't have an asset to pay for it. Like, you know, I'm very, people get on me about this a lot. Cause like, so I'm an avid reader. So for the longest time, all throughout undergrad, and even towards my late 20s, I was really big on like Chris Hogan and Dave Ramsey, right? And Susie Orman. And I had to get from up under their tutelage because I felt like they were just preaching all the wrong shit. So they're very anti-debt, which I get, but their mindset is like, I'm gonna pay just to say I'm debt free. Oh no, man, nothing. I'm gonna pay all this off before I go buy an asset. And it's like, that don't make no sense. I need to go buy this asset to go pay that debt off. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Instead of me spending $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to these student loan companies, like, why not go buy a house or something to pay off my student loan debt and it can pay the mortgage? You know what I'm saying? That make the most sense, but I don't know. But no, you're right. Credit is a tricky
That's how
game.
I feel about Dave.
Yeah.
I always said, listening to Dave will keep you a slave. Because, like, it's a
I like that. I'm going to use that.
It's a reason to be like, employers will offer Dave Ramsey's program to their employees.
Yeah.
Most jobs not going to do no shit like that unless they feel like they can still keep you in control. They're not going to teach you about money.
And, you know, I had to realize, like, it's a different end game. Like, if you're trying to build wealth, first of all, you can't save your way to wealth. You know what I'm saying? And his whole thing, I think it's a different end goal. He's not necessarily trying to make people wealthy. I think his audience is people that's middle class, that's trying to, like, they just want a nest egg in retirement. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that real conservative. And, you know, I'm all cool with the long game as far as the slow money, but it's like, that shit is like crawling. Like that ain't going nowhere. Like you right. You want to be a slave, listen to Dave. But I'm gonna definitely use that. I'm gonna give you your credit. But so I want to get into saving versus investing. A lot of people be like, oh, well, you know, I got a bank account. And I'm like, you know, that's not really giving you no return.
Ain't doing shit for you.
I got a 401k. And it's like, you know, well, you can leverage your 401k. What's your take on like saving versus investing? I think both are important, but what's your take on it?
So I've always believed that, like, as a person, like the first priority should always be saving. I seen a very alarming statistic like a while ago, probably right before the pandemic, saying that like something like half of Americans don't have $1,000 saved.
Oh yeah, so, like, yo, these NBA players is living check to check.
That's some crazy shit to me. Like, how you don't have $1,000 saved? It's $1,000 funky ass dollars. Like, it don't mean like $1,000 is not a lot of money at all. I just want anybody listening to this to think about that. You mean to tell me a motherfucker can't save $1,000? That's not nothing. But saving, to me, I think saving is like, it's important up until the point whenever you just got money sitting that's doing nothing.
Dave, you there?
Yeah, can you still hear me?
Hold on 1 second. You went out.
Internet
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
And we are back. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we back. Again, I'm here with David Ballard of Black Wealth Renaissance, the movement, normalizing Black wealth. Welcome back. Yeah, man, this was good, man. Hey, I had came across one of your tweets, man, and I think you had reposted. Well, it was Instagram. I got it here. I wanted to talk about it. I just was like, man, that's so real. You said building wealth is actually that's not where it started. You said we as Black people need to change our mindset about building wealth. Tell people they'll get a 10% return on an investment and they'll be like, that's it. Tell the same people about this new credit card at 15% APR and they are all game. This must change. Building wealth is a crock pot, not a microwave. When you always look for the quick flip instead of the consistent returns, you will most likely end up losing more money in the end. Be patient, my brothers and sisters. Consistent, modest returns are where it's at. Bruh, when I tell you, I was like, that's so real. And then you was talking about you said need help establishing financial habits and investing in the long run, in the long game. Get a copy of our ebook, Manage Your Money Like the 1%. It's a step-by-step beginner's guide on how to change your relationship with money and start building wealth. So just even the resources that you guys offer, but let's talk a little bit about your tweet, man, because I think that's so real. Like, we be so quick to we want it fast. Like, oh, college take too long. Oh, that money take too long. It takes too long to learn it. It's like, I'm trying to get this quick buck. It is a crock pot, not a microwave. We live in a microwavable society. Why? Like, tell me a little bit about what you meant there, man.
So I give you the full origin of it. I actually got a little bit of trouble for this. I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and I was teaching her about investing. She's a little bit older than me, but she never really learned about this stuff either. Okay. And I was showing her peer-to-peer lending, because peer-to-peer lending is one of our favorite investment vehicles. Because I'm consistently getting 10 to 15% returns off of a $25 investment.
Oh, you got. We gonna come back to that, but you got to put us on game on that one. But let's finish this story though.
Yeah. That shit easy. But I was explaining it to her and I was showing her the numbers and everything, and I off of $700 I made $70 so far. And she's like, that's it? And I'm like, what you mean that's it? Where the fuck else you gonna get this from?
Right.
But in my head, she wasn't the person with the credit card, but I just know people, how you mentioned earlier, that car, that lack of understanding the APR and what that actually means is you don't even understand. You on the wrong side of the game. You willing to pay somebody more than you willing to get paid. And that's a problem.
Right.
Because you don't even understand that APR is the same shit that you getting as the investor.
Right. And that 15% APR on that credit card, that's a high ass APR that you giving out. You know what I'm saying? But that $70 return, that's a hell of a return. You know what I'm saying?
$70 in what it was, 3 or 4 months?
Oh, yeah.
You don't get that shit nowhere else.
Right.
But to me, when it comes to that whole the idea that it's just because that quick flip, I'm looking at a check cashing place right now, quick cash. That's how they, I'm in the hood right now.
The devil.
In the hood side of Lafayette. They got the quick cash place. We're used to that. That's what we're accustomed to. Quick cash, money. Let me see it. Put it in my face. I need it. But that's not investors. That's not investing. That's not how that works.
Right.
I always like to give people the example of the bank. The bank always wins. The bank don't lose no money. I don't know who think the bank lose money, but they in this game to win it. The bank is going to get the bank will give you a mortgage. They're gonna charge you what, a good mortgage rate, anywhere between 3 to 5%. I don't have a person that have a mortgage.
Under 4% is really great. Under 4% is really great.
Yeah. So like you getting that, and this bank is taking this little portion of money every month, and they doing this over a 30-year period. The bank gonna win because they ain't doing no work but just collecting money consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if once we internalize that idea, I also tweeted something about dividends.
Mm-hmm.
I said a 50-cent dividend is more important to me than a 50-cent raise because that 50-cent dividend will help you change the way you're looking at money.
Mm-hmm.
You getting paid for ownership versus getting paid for your time. Like
that's a lesson. That's a bar.
We need to understand that getting paid for ownership instead of getting paid for our time, because our time is limited. We only have 24 hours in a day. Like, if you tie your income strictly to what you can do, you never going you're gonna work till the day you die. Ain't that the quote? If you can't find a ways to make money while you sleep, you're gonna work until you die. So like, whenever you hear investing and you thinking about trying to get these returns, everybody for some reason in their head, if it's not 100% return on investment, it's not a good investment. I personally don't understand it. If I could get 30% out of that shit, I'm bragging about this for the rest of my life.
Right.
But it just takes the time to reframe it. Like, you really got to think about the way that money is actually made.
Yeah.
You make it without having to go out and make it.
That's true. And we got to not be greedy too. And we got to understand, rates of return, you know what I'm saying? Because we just look at it on the face. Oh, 15% or 6% return. That don't sound like a lot, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if we really put it into perspective, it's like you're not getting that on your job. Like, you barely get that as a, yeah, right. Like, it's crazy.
We ain't even touch on compound interest.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing, man. So, but tell me about this peer-to-peer lending, though.
Okay, all right. So, peer-to-peer lending is a gem that my friend Jared found. So peer-to-peer lending, essentially what you're getting to do is you and other investors pool your funds together, and a third-party intermediary, some service like the one we use is called Prosper Invest. They allow you to pool your funds with investors, and they find people who need loans for different things. They grade them out. They assign them grades like from A to high risk based on their credit. They give you all their information, like their credit history and all this type of stuff, like how much they're gonna pay a month, what their job is, number of delinquencies, all that. They give you basically all their financial information. And what you're doing is choosing whether you want to invest into a piece of that loan. So similar to how people buy shares of a company, you buy shares of a loan. You can think of it like that. So you putting on Prosper, the minimum is $25. So you putting $25 into a loan that someone's going to be paying back on for the next 3 to 4 years, and you're going to get paid back over the course of that time versus just, getting all your money back at once.
Oh, wow. And you said the minimum is you could put in $25 on a loan?
As little as $25. To start off on Prosper, you need to fund your account with at least $100. The way you invest is called notes. So it's like a mortgage note. You buying in 25% on the $25 into the total loan. And some people, like, the people come there for all kind of things. Me personally, I like to look at people who are, using the money for something like debt consolidation or something that's going to actionably improve their personal finance. Not like some people come in there, they want loans for like boats and shit. I'm not about to help you get a boat.
That's real. So what happens if the person that borrowed the money, what if they default?
So if they default, that's the risk of peer-to-peer lending. If they default and they don't get current with their payments, you just forfeited your principal.
Okay.
That's the risk. But
no, but I do know note buying is where it's at. I was looking at some real estate notes. So that's I'm not hip to the peer-to-peer lending though. We're gonna have to rap about that offline. You gotta put me on to that.
Hey, for sure. You have to put me on game with some of this stuff too, because I know you out there in Ohio, you doing this real estate game.
Yeah, man.
Nita and Irene.
You know what? It's a funny story, man. Nita just got mad at me. You know what? I'm not perfect. Looking back at it, it probably was. I'll say I could be a woman and a grown woman about it. I probably had a corny moment, I will say. So look, this is what happened. So, you know, J. Cole's track came out yesterday, right?
Uh-huh.
The Snow on the Bluff, right? And cousin Nita, early in the morning, I'm up early, she up early. She hit Twitter and she just was trashing J. Cole. She was just like, it's not that we don't like, it's not that people say J. Cole is trash. It's that his music is trash. She had like the trash can emojis. So I'm like, you know, I try, because usually I just go in for the kill, but I respect Nita, so I ain't want to go in like, oh, you know, you want some bull crap. So I'm like, so I tweet her back. I'm like, trash, that's deep. Why do you feel that way? I was like, sheesh, that's deep. Why you feel that way? And she had, you know, told me why she felt that way. And then she was like, you know, people be acting like he be saying some serious stuff, some deep stuff when it's really simple. And then she was like, he just know how my thing is like he make music for smart people. So I got tight. So I'm like, so you know, I got way more audience on Facebook, and I talk about all this controversial. I talk about hip hop a lot on Facebook. So I didn't even know Cousin Nita was on Facebook. So I had finished my conversation up with her on Twitter. So I had screenshot the tweets, but not to come at her directly. I just was using it. I did use it as an example. So I screenshotted the tweets and I brought it over to Facebook to have a conversation on Facebook because that's where I talk hip hop and stuff. So I don't know how she got word. I didn't even know she was on Facebook. So she come on my Facebook and she tight. She was like, "Oh, there's some corny shit. You ain't even give me an opportunity to defend myself over here." And I was like, "Bruh, I didn't know you was on Facebook, but I'm not attacking you personally." So yeah, man. So she took she screenshotted what I said on Facebook and she brought it on her Twitter and she put the screenshots on her Twitter.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, you know, bruh, I wasn't trying to attack you. We can talk about this though. I love to have this conversation because I was like, you come from an interesting perspective. That's a lot of people's criticism about J. Cole. They feel as though he's boring. You know, I'm not trying to be preached to, you know, I'm not off of that conscious shit. But I feel like when a person say, oh, that's smart people music, first of all, it's a slight against yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying like, oh, you sound white. Like, you know how silly that is? And it's like, I would love to have this conversation with her. But it's like, then she blocked me. So I'm like, damn, bro. I mean, looking back at it, maybe I should have like tried to look her up on Facebook, like, hey, I'm moving it over here. You want to come talk about it here? That's why I say it was probably corny of me. Not really, but it's like I was trying to see where she was coming from. But it's like, damn. I don't think
it's that deep. I don't think it requires a block.
Bro, you know, we in cancel culture though, man. Like when I tell you motherfuckers block you so quick, and I was like, damn, I wanted to do some business with her.
I hate cancel culture. Cancel culture is retarded to me, but I can't say that word. Sorry.
I feel you though. I know what you mean, but you know, people was trying to cancel J. Cole yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, let's not wash away all the stuff he did off some disagreement. You know what I'm saying?
My whole thing is like I was reading it and I was seeing all the like things people were saying. It's like, yo, this man's didn't say nothing disrespectful about nobody, but somehow, some way, it got like misconstrued and consorted as like J. Cole hates women and J. Cole don't care about the movie. I don't understand how it got adulterated into what it did. Uh-oh. It did it again?
We good. No, we good. It was just a little freeze there, but we back at it. Nah, but what was you saying about Cole?
I was just saying, like, that shit was crazy to me. Like, even with the whole, whenever the protest started popping off, like, you got all these people like, where are J. Cole and Kendrick? Why they ain't out there, like, fighting for the people? It's like, man, like, they didn't tweet Black Lives Matter, so now y'all want to cancel them, even though their whole music discography has been Black Lives Matter.
Bro, I was about to say that same shit, and it's like, they've been preaching about this shit for the past decade, and then you turn a deaf ear to it, talking about it's boring. Now all of a sudden, the same shit they've been rapping about for the past 10 years, now you want them to come out and talk about it. Like, you got a whole discography and career to listen to the music. You ain't want to receive it when they was trying to give it to you. And like, what's the name Dave Chappelle just said? It was boring. Right. And what Dave Chappelle just said, it was like, bro, you looking for these celebrities to come in and say something. It's like, it's bigger than the celebrities. The movement is the people. It's like, I ain't got to say shit. And I agree with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need LeBron James or we don't need Jay-Z or Dave Chappelle or J. Cole or Kendrick to come out and say, hey, you're right. I'm here with the people. We know y'all here. Y'all been saying this shit forever. Like, Yeah, so I don't know, man, but I was real tight at that. I just take it. I gotta check myself sometimes because I get personal. I realize that music is subjective. Everybody not gonna like the same thing. But when you say shit like this artist makes music for smart people, what does that even mean? Let's dissect that. Like, but she blocked me, so I wasn't able to dissect it. But shout out to Cousin Nita, House Hunter 216. But I'm just saying, man, I don't know, man. It's all love this way, though. You know, I apologize if I offended her, man. I wish she gave me an opportunity to talk about it. But we're moving on.
It's all hey. I'm telling this shit to my friends. This shit gonna be funny. That's a funny story. But,
hey, you know what? It be like that. You know, everybody not gonna like you. I guess we had an online disagreement. I guess you know.
Hey, and that's part of the movement, though. We not always gonna agree,
That's
but
real.
at least whenever we do disagree, I don't think the action is to block you. The action is to have the conversation.
Yeah, we gotta effectively communicate with one another. If she felt like, you know, I slighted her, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's all love this way. I ain't trying to throw no hands with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep. We talking about hip hop. Jesus Christ. But I let her get some money with her. But if not, I'm still gonna make money. But getting back to what you was talking about, yes, I'm in the Cleveland market. I actually live here in DC, so I'm from Cleveland, but I wholesale in the DMV and PG County and Baltimore, and my buying hose is in Cleveland. But yeah, man, in terms of it's not really good for appreciation, but in terms of cash flow, yo, Cleveland is it, man. Cleveland is it. Like me talking about property selling for at the auction, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $30,000, you really getting some slot solid. You know what I'm saying? So, and we talking about, you know, Section 8 tenants.
30 bands? What type of cash flow are we talking?
Huh? Bruh,
What type of cash flow you
it's
talking?
solid. Like you get $950, you get $1,000 for a 3-bedroom. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, my homeboy, actually, you should follow Black Real Estate Dialogue.
Yeah.
He invests in Dayton, Ohio altogether. I feel like it's a cash cow in terms of cash flow, man, for sure. So definitely, if ever you want to come to Cleveland, I'll give you a tour. I'll show you what neighborhoods, what zip codes. You get money everywhere. Cleveland proper, suburbs, all that.
I'm gonna have to take you up on that offer because I'm trying to be. As soon as the world open back up, I'm trying to go on a tour. I'm trying to be all over the country.
Nah, I feel you. But yeah, man, we definitely got to get off into that. But real estate is where it's at. That's my primary. I just got off into the option trading. Shout out to Todd Billionaire. But what's your thoughts on Forex?
All right, so Forex was actually one of the first things that I got into whenever I was in my financial journey. I say in that period of time between graduating college and reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, Forex was something that I did. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any beef with the Forex itself, the Forex market. Mm-hmm. I think Forex is an actual profitable venue that you can make work for you, but I do not think you should go into it without a significant amount of capital. Just because the way the market can turn against you and it's so much more volatile than the stock market. Mm-hmm. But I don't have beef with Forex. I think Forex is good. I don't like a lot of the companies that have branded themselves on Forex.
So you don't like the Forex bots?
Nah, not the bots. Like
okay.
I don't like a lot of the multi-level marketing companies that are built around Forex because they come in and they prey on a lot of young black college students is what I've noticed. They come in, they prey on you, and they talk about you creating this passive income, this stream of passive income, and learning how to make money from your phone through Forex. But then once you actually become involved with these people, you're not actually making money through Forex. What they're encouraging you to do is get more people to sign up. And
it's that pyramid.
That pyramid shit never does sit right with me because like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it like I joined it. I was paying like $150 a month. And I'm like, okay, they're supposed to teach me how to trade. So I'm in this bitch like, hey, let's go. I'm about to trade, about to learn this. I'm on the calls, waking up 2:00 in the morning, hopping on the calls and all that. So it's like I'm learning and whatnot. But they keep saying, hey man, you might not make no money your first 3 months doing this. Just focus on getting 2 more people. focus on getting them 2 people, and then you ain't got to worry about that. You can just learn how to trade. I'm like, so you mean to tell me, in order for me to feel good about not making no money doing this shit, I gotta
go recruit some other people.
That's dead. And then if I found a third person, y'all gonna start paying me $35 a month. Well, let me do the math on this. Right. I got you 3 people paying you $150 a month. That's $450. I get 35. Right. Oh hell no! I'm gonna go make my own money.
Man, but that's facts. And you know, go ahead.
I say all that to say I don't have no beef with Forex.
Yeah.
I don't like them companies.
Nah, yeah, I feel you. And you know what? It's always some new multi-layer network marketing company. Like I fell prey to it in college. They got me with the ACN. They got me with the World Ventures. Like it's always something new. And it's like, you know, if you do this and recruit this many people, you can make this. But it's like you're right. They do prey on young college students, and we be so hungry to, you know, that first little, you know, get our feet wet in entrepreneurship. He's like, this looks realistic. Let me try it. But yeah, shout out to that, man. So what else? So I wanted, speaking of college, you know, we grew up, because how old are you? You 20, 25, 24?
25.
Are you a baby, man? You doing the damn thing. I just want to tell you again, like, that's super dope, man. Super dope.
I feel like I ain't done shit yet.
Yeah, you on your way, brother. You definitely you laid the foundation well. You definitely ahead of the game, much further than what I was at 25, because I'm still trying to like, oh, I want to go work for this job. I want to go do this. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I wanted to talk about college real quick. You know, we grew up, our parents told us to, you know, you want to make more money, go to school, get a good job. You know, our grandparents worked the same job for 30, 40 years, retired, got a pension. Now, you know, grandma got a Cadillac and a house, you know what I'm saying? And that was the American dream. Fast forward to 2020 and the millennials. Do you think that us living in the information age and the social media age, everything being so direct to consumer and so not easy, but more accessible, do you think that college is less of a necessity? Do you think it's more antiquated at this point?
I do think college is less of a necessity because, like, to me, at this point, I think college, for me personally, all college did for me was show me 2 things. It helped me expand my network. I got to meet some people that I probably never would have met, like my best friends in life, if I'd have just stayed out here. And, like, it showed me that I can really learn anything if I put my mind to it. But in terms of, like, it being necessary, I don't think 20 years from now, kids are going to be going to college. 5 years from now, I don't think kids are going to be going to college the way we were pushed to go to college. Because whenever we were pushed to go to college, it's like our parents didn't see the difference in what just happened. Like, whenever you were coming up, maybe your classmates went to college and they ended up being a lot better financially well off than you because it presented them more opportunities. But now it's not necessarily that way. Like, whenever it's changed over to this information age, it's the person who knows actually. Like, it doesn't matter what that piece of paper say. Right. What do you actually know? Right. Like, Google just said they're removing the requirement to hire people with college degrees. Like, they say it's pointless. They're missing out on a large pool of talent because at this point, college is just a piece of paper to some of these companies. You go in here for 4 years. You're learning all this unspecialized information. You learn all this general shit along with your specifics. And then, like, what does it really show for? So I don't think it's going to be that necessary.
Nah, I agree. And, like, I agree with you in terms of, you know, I personally don't regret going to college. You know, thank God I was able to, you know, go for free with my scholarship. But I just felt like it wasn't I don't regret it not because of the piece of paper that I obtained or what I think I've learned. It was because of what it taught me. It just opened my mind to what was possible. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the college experience was important, but I don't necessarily think the piece of paper was that important. You know, like, shit, for 2 years, you taking an elective. You know, you really don't get into your major for like 2 years. If honestly, I feel like kids going the JUCO route for the first 2 years is probably, if you're paying for college at least, that's probably the smartest thing. And then, just getting into your, because you don't get into your major. Right. It's just overly expensive. And then you got to weigh the cost. Like, does the means benefit the justify the end? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody just
why go get $70,000 in debt for a job that's going to pay you like 30?
Bruh, and they want you to have 3 years experience for that $30,000 a year job. It's crazy.
What's wrong with these people?
Hey, but that's what the rat race is, man. It's just like the sheep following the herd. You know what I'm saying? They leading us into a burning building. It's like, it's not meant for us to get free. It's meant for us to play the game to make sure they stay wealthy. So
yeah, that's true. Because if that was the case, minimum wage still wouldn't be $7.25.
Bruh, it's crazy. It's crazy. But all right, man, this was great, man. I know I've been on here for a while with you. I appreciate it. This was super dope, man. But yeah, definitely let's talk that real estate stuff, man, because I love for people to come into the market and I love for people to get involved. Cleveland is like, I don't live there. I wouldn't live there, but it's like a cash cow to make money in. You know what I'm saying? But for sure, we'll talk offline about that. But you got any last minute words? Where can people find you? Where can they find you on social? You got anything you want to plug in?
Sure. Well, first, once again, thank you for inviting me on the show, Tay. This has been a great time. It's been fun. For anybody that would want to follow me on social media, my name on Instagram and Twitter is David the Goliath. It's spelled different on both. On Instagram is THE, and on Twitter is David DA Goliath. You can find me David Ballard. If you type the name, you'll see a picture of me. I'm smiling and whatnot. But other than that, really, y'all make sure y'all follow everything else I got going on. Like, we got our book with Black Wealth Renaissance, Managing Money Like the 1%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been going great. We've been going crazy. We've been trying to help as many people as possible just on their financial journeys, helping them get started. Mm-hmm. Also, make sure you follow Black Wealth Renaissance and BWR Podcast and listen to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. We recently just got rated. We cracked the top 50.
Hey, in the Apple, congrats on that, brother.
Thank you. Trying to get back up there. I'm trying to get up there with EYL and Rashad and trying to get the top 10.
Right. You on your way though. You on your way. Hey, for the culture, trying to get up there too. Shit.
Hey, let's go. We just gotta keep working and eating. That's how it goes.
Right. We got it.
But yeah, I mean, that's really it. I'm bad at plugging myself. Like, I don't really know what else to say.
Oh, man, you good. Hey, just follow Black Wealth Renaissance, man. It's life-changing. All the content that they produce, I just feel like, man, it's like, it's nutritional. It's stuff we need. You know what I'm saying? So we get all the fattening stuff, on social media especially. Like, we get all the, the comparisons and the entertainment stuff. Like, feed yourself something important. You know what I'm saying? So definitely follow Black Wealth Renaissance. But all right, David, man, I'm gonna let you go. This has been episode 7. This is episode 8. Episode 8 of For the Culture podcast. I'm your girl, the one and only Tay Jordan. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at _4 the culture with a K. Again, that's at _4 the culture with a K. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That's _Tay Jordan. That's _Tay Jordan. That's Tay with a Y. And Godspeed.
Yes.